Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is build number 6 in a series of 12 no-build builds in my '07 Toyota Sienna, using things that you have, things your grandma has, things that you thrift, find at a yard sale, estate sale. For this week's build, I'm using 2 vintage suitcases, leather, that I found at a thrift store. I really wanted the cosmetic bag, but someone already had it in their cart. They're the perfect size for the canvas bags that I keep my categories in. One of the canvas bags won't be necessary because I also found this great old wicker, that's my chicken, Petunia, this great old wicker basket. So in keeping with the vintage theme, and it's kind of a honeymoon theme because the suitcases reminded me of my parents' honeymoon trip to Monterey. So everything that's in here would have been utilized during the early 60s. But the wicker basket is going to be really convenient. I'm using a piano stool as my countertop and desk, and the picnic basket slides underneath when not in use. Now, because I envisioned it as a honeymoon theme, I've got a brass ice bucket that they could also use as a sink. So my canvas bags of essentials, the food and prep and service will be stored, and is stored right now. As a matter of fact, I've got the Mail Mac that my family used when we camped in the 60s aboard this build, as it was era appropriate. So in the 2 suitcases, I will store the other 4 bags of my essentials, which will include my beverage bar, chargers, and other electronics, including some camera equipment, and lights, and bathroom. As usual, I've got the side areas set up as my nightstands, and of course, since it's vintage 60s, she's got her Evening in Paris, as well as her sandalwood. I mean, think about it. In terms of the lighting I used, I wanted it to be something that was available in the 60s. And they wouldn't have had water containers. They probably used jars. I mean, they could have used glasses, but they're camping, so they're using jars. I've got the bags for essentials, the hers side, and the his side. This is Petunia, and that's Daisy. They've decided to be involved in the video today. So I kept this build kind of minimalist because I remember camping in the 60s, and as a family of 5, I don't think we took as much stuff as I take now. So I did pare things down, and, you know, they didn't have electronics. I remember we read books and played board games, and I was just paring down my cooking and food prep. Since I got a big power box for Christmas and my birthday, a 1500 watt, I now really have trimmed down to a hot plate and one of those food warmers and a collapsible electric water warmer. So none of those things were available in the 60s. I mean, hot plates were, but you'd have to have a plug-in. So you probably did your food prep outside. You definitely, well, hopefully weren't bringing your Coleman propane stove into the van, but yeah. And of course there were ice chests and things of that nature, and I even have a vintage one, but it was already slated for another build. So, again, it can be as simple as this: a wicker picnic basket, a couple of suitcases, an ottoman, which also offers storage, a countertop, and desk space. So, this again is build number 6 in a series of 12 no-build builds. Look forward to showing you next week's. And it just couldn't be easier or simpler if you're so choosing to camp or live in your van to make a totally functional mobile micro home. I don't have any of my toilets in this build because, well, actually the bedpan would have been available then. I could have used that. But just a simple build, but perfectly usable. Have a great week. Look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you. Bye now.